I love to grow with nature, and that's why when I overwinter my dahlia tubers, I also pick the most natural and simplest method is that I just leave them all in the ground and I give them a little protection. However, there are some favorite varieties that I would cry if they don't come back in spring. I will have to dig those up. The best way to learn how to grow anything is to understand the nature of that plant. For Dahlia, I learned that they from Central America, so they don't like to get too cold and also they don't like to get too wet. So I protect the dahlias in the ground with with a lot of leaves and some blanket. If I bring my dahlia tubers in my basement, I make sure that my basement is not too humid. If it's too humid, I just open up the box, for them to get fresh air so they don't rot. And also I try not to leave them in the spot that is too hot because they will try to grow instead of going to sleep.
We got time on our side. We're in a state of hope. I need you on my fire. I want you to know that every time you're away, I long for you so much I can find my way. We got everything here, at least to stay alive. And the time that we share makes it all worthwhile. Got this place on our own. Do you feel that we got something strong? And I saw you walking the line, and the truth may come as a surprise. That with you I feel alive. You'll be the last one I think about. We got time on our side. We're in a state of hope. I need you on my fire. I want you to know that every time you're away, I long for you so much I can find my way. And I saw you walking the line, and the truth may come as a surprise. That with you I feel alive. You'll be the last one I think about.
โอ้ท่าดาปึ๊บ Be very gentle with these babies. Try not to hurt them. The best time to transplant seedling when the plants have the mature or the true leaves look like this, like the real plant, versus the round little cute one. And also when the stem is strong enough to handle. You don't want the seedling to be too small and too weak when you transplant them because they can be hurt. And I can just use, this regular potting mix. Just put it there. Try not to push and then water a little bit. Here the seedling that's very small is pretty fragile, so I have to pay extra attention to the seedling that's small like this. Soak it in. And the water will glue the roots to the soil. Look at this one. Oh my goodness. What should I do? Oh my gosh.
The last one I think about.
Today is April 13th. The danger of frost has passed in my area, New Jersey, Zone 7A. But I am not planting these dahlias in the ground yet because I want to make a slow transition them from inside to outside by putting them by a protected area. And my patio is just perfect to harden off these dahlias because it has 3 walls that protect, these young baby dahlias from high wind, from strong sunlight. It's cloudy today and it's perfect to move baby dahlias outside because they were comfortable in the basement. If we move them outside in a bright, sunny, strong sunlight day, they will get shocked. We have to train them to receive more sunlight little by little. On their first day outside, I am going to put them underneath this bench, also underneath this roof too, which will give them extra protection. I have not watered them since I started the tubers. Now it's time to do so. And I will not water them again until I plant them outside or if they really dry out. If you have an unheated greenhouse, it's just as perfect as a protected patio to harden off the dahlia seedlings or baby dahlia plants. Now let's prepare the garden bed. Pull out all the weed and loosen your soil like this. When your soil is compact, you cannot grab it. When it's loosened, you can grab it like this. You need the soil on your growing space to be like this. This is mushroom compost that I get from a landscaping nursery close to my house. But you can get it in a smaller bag from a garden center that is close to your house, looking for cow manure or any kind of organic compost. Now spread this compost on the soil that you just prepared. To me, the more compost is always better, but if you can spread about 1 inch or 2 inch, it's gonna be totally fine too. This is the dahlia that I overwinter them in fall. Let's see how they are doing. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. I lost my dahlias.
Oh yeah?
They're not, I don't see any of them.
Maybe they need a little sun. Were they covered?
Yeah, they were covered.
Or maybe leave them uncovered for a couple days, see if they sprout.
These children are getting too comfortable in their protected spot. And we don't need that. We want to train them to be strong so they can deal with difficulties down the road. At the same time, we cannot move them to their forever home yet because, they will get shocked. We want to move them somewhere in between, like comfortable to difficult, in the middle. In this spot, they will get more sunlight, they will get rain, but there are still some protection from the wind by being close to the wall. Today is a semi-sunny, cloudy day and the temperature is around 60 to 70, which is perfect to make any transition. Now put the tubers in and the head should be around 2 or 3 inches underneath the topsoil. Then put the soil back in. Also add some stick here so you know that there are dahlia tubers here. If you buy too many dahlia tubers like me, here's the most difficult step of the process: finding the spot to plant them. You want to pay attention to the height of each variety. Dahlia hometown is Central America. They are from somewhere that, are pretty on a highland, and they have a lot of breeze, they have a lot of sunlight. So we want to give them that condition to, bring out the best version of them. And I will grow them, on this spot, which is pretty open and receive a lot of sunlight in my garden. These dahlia that we are growing, they are bred for cut flowers. So they need extra attention from us, and that is the nutrient in the soil and the compost. I like to make hole about 1 feet below the ground. This is the soil for my garden. It's pretty good, but we want to give our baby premium soil. Gonna give them extra compost, some organic fertilizer, mix it. Now it's time to take this out. Holy moly. Wow. And I like to plant dahlia about 1 foot apart. So I'm gonna plant them right there. If your primary reason of growing dahlia is to get the cut flowers and make bouquets, and you don't want a lot of work, you might want to consider growing them in a straight line like this. It will be so much easier to maintain them. I already amended the soil in this garden like 2 years ago, and every year I add more compost here, so just lose the soil. I like to bury my dahlia a little deep, so I will put the soil right here, so the soil will help anchor the stem. Plus, when the rain wash this garden, the soil will kind of sink down too. So we want to give them extra depth a little bit. These two still have some time to stay in the pot. So I will wait to see if some of these babies are not coming back, then I will replace that spot with these 2 new babies. In spring, I only water the young dahlia plants and the tubers when I plant them. And if the soil is already wet, I just give them a little bit of water. And that's because at this stage, the dahlia doesn't have a lot of leaves and branches and flowers, so they don't need a lot of water. And if they have the excess water in the ground, in the soil, it will rot the tubers. So I just keep waiting. I don't water them until the plant is about this big, when they have leaves and branches, when the temperature in the air on average is about 70 degrees or maybe 75 degrees, then I start watering them about once a week with deep water. And if there's a rain on that week, I just skip watering. Do you know that dahlia are edible flowers? And also people used to fry the tubers like the potatoes too. So I have these 3 tubers. They are sprouting. I don't even know what they are. So I'm going to plant them like in my vegetable garden to make it pretty. Of course, we want a lot of flowers from our dahlias because we are growing them for cut flowers. And this is how you double the blooms. When they are about this size and has multiple sets of leaves, when the stem is getting stronger but still tender, it's the perfect time to pinch them. So I will count the set of leaves. 1, 2, then cut right there. This one can wait a little longer, but I'm gonna do it now because I don't wanna forget. This is way too young to pinch. If we pinch it right here, right, the plant will only have 2 leaves and they need leaves to grow. So I'm gonna wait. When we top off the main stem of the dahlias, the plant will send the energy to produce more side branches. And these side branches will become a stem of flower. But if you let the main stem continue to grow, they will go like sunflowers, you know. I pinched this one too late and you see the hole in the middle. It will collect water and it could rot the, center of the plant. I didn't pinch this dahlia in my vegetable garden because I want to show you guys what's going to happen if you don't pinch your dahlias.
Wanna be free of this heart, yeah. Wanna feel your arms around me. I need you more, need you here, more than I would like to admit. Let's forget about tomorrow, yeah. Should I hide away forever? Should I close my eyes and never again hold you tight, call you mine, think about you every time I remember that it's over.
Today is May 26th and I want to show you that the dahlias that I left them in the ground from last year, turn out that they are so much stronger than the one that I started indoor. Look, this is the one that I left in the ground, this one that I started indoor. There are still some slug damage, but if you grow this dahlia in a good soil and feed them well enough and taking good care of them, give them enough sunlight, the slug cannot beat, the growth of the dahlia. When it's possible, you can plant your dahlia in different spots in the garden. I have one right here, one right there, and right there, and right there, and right there. Because we want to reduce the risk of losing them to whatever, like the slugs, like water problem, like sunlight problem, like disease. Also, we can get to test out which spot in our garden that works best for them.
I'm so afraid to be left behind. I think about you a lot. It's almost like I can't stop. Can't stop. Yeah. You never lose an argument. So I've been trying hard to pretend that I'm okay. It's just a phase, and everything is going just great. I think about you a lot. It's almost like I can't stop. Can't stop. Yeah, yeah. It's almost like I can't stop. Yeah, yeah. Can't stop. No, no. Think about you a lot. It's almost like I can't stop. I can't stop. I can't stop. Can't stop.
This dahlia looks strong and sturdy and you would think that they don't need support. But I'll show you closer. Look at this, the side branches kind of flop. Check it out. And this will help improve air circulation for the dahlia too. Taking off the bottom leaves. When you have a cut flowers garden, you will never have enough to buy. And this one is $25 and I get a lot of it. And I save a lot of money buying this instead of keep buying the little one. We have been taking care of these babies for several months now, and we don't want them to like flop or fail in the very last step. Believe me, we almost there. Just spending this 10 minutes, it will save your babies from falling all over the place. I am a little late. The insect get to them before me. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to just cut this off. This will help the plant to reserve energy to produce the other bloom. I'm gonna cut this whole branch out because it's flopping. I'm gonna split this into two stems by cutting it right here. The benefit of doing a little arrangement is that we don't need long stem and we can leave this bud to bloom next. In summer, when the temperature is like 80 degrees or above, when the dahlias like become like very big, I water them every 3 days. However, there are a lot of spots in my garden that I don't have irrigation. I just give them a lot of mulch when I plant them, so that will help retain the water in the soil for that dahlia that doesn't have the irrigation system. And it's totally okay too that you don't have the irrigation system because dahlia don't need a lot of water at all. And to be honest with you, if I don't grow the other cut flowers, I wouldn't need to set up any irrigation for my dahlias plant at all. And then only water whenever there's a drought or whenever it gets very hot. Momo, I love you. Dahlias are cut and come again flowers. That means after you cut the flowers, the plant will send out new shoots and then they will produce more blooms. And then you cut them again and then they bloom again and then you cut them again and then they bloom again. If you don't cut the flowers for your bouquet, you still have to deadhead them because if these flowers go to seed, the flowers or the seed will send a signal to the plant saying that, hey, I already have babies for next year. I don't have to produce any more blooms. So it's important that we trick them by don't let them go to seed. Don't let them send the signal to the plant. You can just take off the flowers like this, or you can cut out the whole stem by putting your clippers there and then track down the stem and then cut it at the first joint. This is bad. A lot of seed already. I'm sorry. I have to stop you from producing seeds. If you are new to my channel, my name is Crane. I grow cut flowers in my backyard, which is about 1/3 of my property. I cut them, I arrange them, and I sell them at my roadside stand. This time of the year when it gets very hot in July and August, our dahlias tend to go dormant a little bit. So they are not blooming very well. But there's still some stem left for me to cut them. And I am going to be very patient because when September comes, you'll see. Right now, just keep deadheading. Bye bye. I cut them very deep because I don't want them to get too tall by September and then they will flop all over the place. And also I want to promote air circulation inside this bush for them to have room to breathe and to mitigate the powdery mildew issue, if any. Keep removing the bottom leaves and the dead leaves here by the plant. It will definitely help. And the dahlia will love you. Take it off. I'm gonna take advantage of these two dahlia that have bending stems by putting them on the side like this. Have them facing out and one more on this side. My dahlias get attacked by all kinds of babies as well. I learned over the past few years that the babies, either like earwig, spider mite, or whatever eat my dahlias, they love the light color flowers, like white, like pastel. They don't really bother the darker one like this red dahlia. They also poop on my flowers. Oh, so disgusting. I learned that single dahlia, they are not going to last in the vase super long. And because of that, I'm gonna cut this one that just opened, to make sure that they last a little longer. Ooh. All right there. The dahlia row is doing just okay. They still need more time to come back, when the temperature is cooler and when the bugs are going away in a few months. These Tempest Dahlia, they are so gorgeous. I'm gonna take all the flowers and put next to the dahlia and see if it goes together. Yeah, I think this is the right match. I think, yes. And again, I'm gonna cut the one that is flopping first. I know you are afraid to cut dahlias very deep like this, especially when you have to sacrifice the side branches that are about to bloom like this one. But believe me, if you don't cut them hard, they're gonna flop. You can see here, they already flop here. So I'm gonna cut the whole thing out.
the curative on my page.
I have peachy dahlia on this side, so I'm gonna add one bigger one on this side. Now I see this dahlia, starting to flop. So I'm gonna fix that by put the sedum orange oil right here. Now the sedum orange oil will support this dahlia. This spot kind of missing yellow, so I just add the yellow flowers here.
You're my sunshine after rain. 네가 좋아. 무지개 빈 하늘을 봐. 또 푸르른 하늘과 silver lining in the clouds. 바람결에 흩날리는 너의 향기 햇살 같은 눈밑 작은 점 하나같이 사랑해주지 않고 못 배겨 baby. 널 좋아하나 봐.
Today is September 16th, and in our area this time of the year the temperature at night is around 65 and at noon is around 75. We still have a lot of sunlight, and this is the best climate that we can ask for our dahlias. They really enjoy this temperature and the sunlight this time of the year so much. Also the pest pressure has slowed down. Because the bugs, the insects that keep eating our dahlias, they just finish their life cycle and maybe they get eaten by the predator insects. So what happened is that we have a lot of dahlias to cut right now, and I am going to show you a few ways to cut our dahlias. Depends on your preference and it also depends on the situation. Almost every dahlia is going to have side buds like this. If you want this one to be big and healthy, cut this off. And about next week, you come back to this stem and you're going to cut it from right here. Okay, cut this off, cut this off. Tracking down your clippers, down to the next joint. Then you can cut him right here. This is a pretty good stem length for bud vases and for mason jar. And if you feel bad to sacrifice these little guys that coming next, you cut right here is the perfect spot for you. But if you want longer stem length like me, you cut it right down here. I totally understand some of you might not be comfortable doing this. So I sacrifice about 1, 2, 3, 4, totally 4 little side potential flowers that are coming next to just get this one long stem of flowers. But here's the thing, this time of the year our dahlia are growing so fast, so healthy, so they tend to be very heavy and they tend to flop like this. Okay, if you cut just a little bit, it's gonna flop all over the place, and it can be a big mess in your garden. So I would rather cut a very long branch like this, because I didn't cut this dahlia hard enough. So here's what I lose, a lot of potential babies. So at this point I just technically pull them out because they flop too bad. But as the result of cleaning up my dahlias, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flowers to arrange. Actually 7, 8, and 9. And this looks so much better now. This dahlia, I grow this one in the very front of the garden to just, make my garden look pretty, and I don't want to cut them at all. But at least I should come here to clean them up, especially this time of the year. A lot of cut flowers, we usually cut them when they are just about to open, like sunflowers. like cosmos, like peonies, to make sure that we have the longest best life of that flowers. Except dahlia. If you cut the dahlia when they are just about to open, they're not gonna open in a vase for you. You wanna cut them when they are just like this. This one last week I cleaned up all the side branches because I plan to cut this stem, and now is the perfect time to harvest them. This is the perfect dahlia to be cut. You can see that the flowers is full, it's pretty, there's no bug damage. You cannot see the center of the flower yet. At the same time, or when you look in the back of the flowers, you don't see dead petals at all. Okay. You can cut this dahlia, but it's gonna stay like this forever in the vase. It's not gonna open anymore. I can cut this one too if I want to, but they're not gonna get any bigger in the vase. I can wait a little bit longer for them to be more like a ball shape like this one. This dahlia seems to be perfect to be cut. The flowers is open, but you cannot see the center yet. But when you look in the back, it's no longer good. This is good for flower arrangement if you do it for yourself, for your home, but if you give to somebody or if you sell it, it's gonna last in the vase only 1 or 2 days. And you don't wanna give flowers that, last very short time. This one is of course too blown open. So this is done. I can just deadhead it. However, there are a lot of varieties of dahlias that they will show their center since the very beginning. And this is one of the variety that they will show the center a little bit just like this, since they were baby. I cut this because the back of them look good. They look just open and they look perfectly fine. This is the bud stage of this variety. You can see that they show the center since they're baby. So it's okay when you see the center. And some of them are just like this, like daisy. No matter what you do, they're gonna show the centers. I cut this dahlia, although they are not fully open like this one, because, I, I need it for my flower stand tomorrow. I can leave it in the plant and enjoy it, 2 days later when they're fully open in the garden. But, I need enough of this color to make this bouquet. Beautiful flowers come with big responsibilities. And again, our dahlia is growing so fast and so tall and so heavy. So it's important that we are reinforcing the support. Here's what's gonna happen if you don't reinforce the support. It's just broke apart because this is too heavy. If I use plastic one or nylon one, it could be it could be stronger. But I don't like the plastic net in my garden because they kind of messy, and when I cut it, I cut the net too. Once they flop, the stem tend to be like this. And when you get to this point, it's impossible to get it back. And here's what happens if you don't stake your dahlia at all. They just flop like this. Here's the plant. And the clump is right here. But look at the stem. It's like going through that. So that's the stem. And then it sends out this side branches. And the side branches, come straight up to be like flowers, like this one. There we go. I feel like this one having disease. Gonna dig them up. What on earth is this? So cute. Oh, this smells so Gonna make the dahlia float on top of the other flower just a little bit. You can use little bud to just, fill in the arrangement. You can see that I don't crisscross the stem. I don't do this in the arrangement, right? All the stem point out from one spot like this. Like this.
Used to falling in love with love, but I'm breaking my habit 'cause you turn me on to my heart's desire. Now I'm dying to let you know what I feel is some kind of wonderful, some kind of magical woman. My love's for real. I need to show you right now. Take a look at me now. I can't explain for the life of me what you did to me when I met you last summer. You set me free, you believed in me. Now you're here with me, and we're walking on cloud nine. Wide awake, and the step that I take is to celebrate what my heart has discovered. You set me free, you believed in me. Now you're here with me, and we're walking on cloud nine. Yeah, we're walking on cloud nine. Yeah, we're walking on cloud nine.
My vegetable garden turns out that they are full with dahlias. And these are the dahlia that are grown from seed. They are not, as full as the dahlia that grown from tuber. And the bee love the pollen so much, which make it very difficult for me to cut the flowers.
Kind of wonderful, some kind of magical woman. My love's for real. I need to show you right now.
Today is October 26th. Almost all of our dahlias are done blooming. At this point, the flowers are dry, and some of them don't even have flower left on the plant anymore. And it's impossible to tell which variety they are. And that's why a month or 2 months ago, I made all the labels of the clumps of the dahlias that I am going to dig up the tubers. I have been waiting for this dahlia to bloom for so long, and I thought I didn't give them enough sunlight, water, and fertilizer, but I think they are just late blooming dahlias. That means they are going to bloom later than the other dahlias, which is good because while the other dahlias are done, this one, blooming.
Oh, we're walking on cloud nine.
Today is November the 4th. The temperature in my garden at night is around 40 degrees. At noon is around 60 degrees. It's pretty cold for me and also for my dahlias. About 95% of them stop blooming, stop growing, but they still look like a plant. You know, they still have green leaves. Ideally, at this point, we should not do anything else except stop watering them, stop giving them water. Because in a few weeks, they're going to have the killing frost, and that's when we dig up the tubers. The killing frost is important, you know, according to the expert, because the killing frost will send a signal to the dahlia tubers saying that, hey, winter is here, you should stop growing, you should go sleeping, and then we dig up the tubers and then store them and then let them sleep over winter inside our house. However, it's not an ideal world. You know, the garden looks pretty messy right now. The dahlia doesn't look happy at all because it's very cold. You can do this, okay? Some people cut off the dahlia 2/3 of the plant or maybe halfway because they believe that, you know, when you cut off the flowers and the foliage like this, the energy will go to the tubers and then the tubers will become stronger, will become more firm, or they will get more, you know, viable tubers for next year. But for me, I don't do that because I already have a lot of tubers. I need more space, you know, so I'm not gonna worry about that. However, this plant, they're still blooming. That's why, you know, I wanna leave some stem on the plant. I really need to clean up this spot. So I'm gonna cut them back to the ground, and maybe a few days I'm gonna come back and then dig up the tubers. Or you can just dig them up. Okay, just make sure that when you dig them up, they are dry. If they're not dry, you can place them, you know, somewhere in the garden and let them dry for like a day. Okay, just keep looking at the tubers. As soon as they dry, you can just, you know, store them. It doesn't have to be super dry, it just have to be not wet, okay? I hate to say this, but while we are waiting for the killing frost, it's also the time to get rid of the dahlias that are our least favorite. I know, I'm sorry. This is the dahlia from seed. They're not double. They don't have a good vase life. They flop all over the place because the stem is not strong. The stem break very easily when you arrange them because it's very skinny. So I'm gonna dig them up and remove them from this vegetable garden. To me, this is dry enough to store when you can, you know, touch the soil and it's falling off like this. If you have big enough cardboard box, you can store them the whole thing like this. But this is pretty too big to me and I don't have a lot of big box, so I'm gonna split them apart. If you want a bushy dahlia plant for next year, plant this whole clump in the ground. It will produce a lot of stems from each tuber, but the flowers will be a little bit smaller because each tuber will compete each other for nutrients and water. This is way too big. I don't recommend planting the whole clump like this in the ground at all because each stem will compete each other so bad. They will have so difficult time to go through the soil. This is what I really like to store because it's not too big, it's not too small. It has a lot of energy saved in each tubers, and this will become a, you know, good dahlia plant for next year. It will have, you know, several stems and it will produce good enough flowers. Also, this is a good size to plant in the pot when I start them in early spring next year. You can also save single tubers like this, especially if you want to share with your friends, but make sure that you have the whole tubers. Also, make sure that you have the neck of the dahlias and it's strong. And also make sure that you have the head of the dahlias. And in the head there are eyes. To see the eyes, you have to clean the tubers. And I don't like to clean tubers because I like to have dirt on the tubers because that will help store my dahlias better. It's still very hard to see the eyes. I can't even tell. And that's why I like to store them just like this. There must be eyes somewhere on these tubers' heads. Plus, I don't have to clean them up. After you dig up your dahlia tubers, you want to check for gall disease, which can spread to the other dahlia tubers and plants in your garden. The first type of gall is crown gall, which is like a tumor on the head of the dahlia tubers. The second type is leafy gall. It's like a multiple stems and sprouts come from one spot of the head of the tubers. If you ever cut the diseased dahlia tubers, you have to clean your pruner or your shovel with bleach, okay, or cleaning product that is say kill bacteria and viruses, and throw that diseased tuber away because there's no way for you to save that tubers, and it can even spread to the other areas and the other plants in your garden. But please don't over worry about the disease. They don't spread that easy at all. You really have to cut the diseased tuber, then use that clipper to cut the healthy one to spread the disease, or you plant the diseased tuber and healthy tubers together in one hole. That's how they spread. Please don't over worry about this, especially if you go to Facebook, group. There will be a lot of, I don't know. Some people store their dahlia tubers in peat moss. Some store them in vermiculite. I like to just store them in nothing. Just put a little dirt on them or leave the dirt on them. And that works best for me. These are the dahlia tubers that I forgot to plant them in spring. I just left them in my basement. I have the box open like this. I have no dirt on them. They just sit on the soil like this. And they're sprouting. This one dry up. And I want to show you how the dahlia stems sprout from the tubers. You can see here, this is the tubers, right? And here's the neck, right? Here's the neck. And you can see that the stem sprout from the eyes. And the eyes on the head of the tubers. And then it become the dahlia stems. And this one have a little baby eye right here that is sprouting. You see the little dot here. And that's why I think storing dahlia tubers in a little clump like this is the best. And in early spring, I can just pot them up in a pot like this. Okay, and because they have several tubers in one clump, there's more chance that this will sprout. There's so many ways and so many theories on how to store dahlia tubers, and these theories keep confusing us. After growing dahlias and storing dahlias successfully for 4 years, I learned that the only thing we have to pay attention to is the temperature. The air temperature in the place that you store your dahlias should be around 35 degrees Fahrenheit to around 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Because if it gets too cold than that, your dahlia will get too cold and then they will, even dry up or they will rot. If it's too hot, they will try to sprout and they will become like this, But they survive. My room temperature in my basement is around, like 50 degree in winter time, and in summertime it's around 70 degree. So my dahlias doing okay without peat moss, without vermiculite, without, all the attention. Most of my dahlia tubers are from Swan Island Dahlias. I like them because their website have this filter function. I usually click on best cut flowers filter here. Then they will show me the dahlias that are good for cut flowers. I can also filter by bloom style or bloom time or the size of the bloom, also the flower color. I also got some tubers from Sunny Meadow Flower Farm. A lot of their tubers are meant for cut flowers. You can just tell from their website. I also got some tubers from Bear Creek Farm. They are another flower farmer that sell dahlia tubers. And of course, the dahlia varieties that they sell are good for cut flowers. See these dahlia varieties, they have a lot of petals, they don't show the center, and they have the flower facing up, and something like this are good cut flowers, and they're going to have good rest life. I also got some tubers from local nursery and home improvement store close to my house, but not all of them are good cut flowers, and I'm not sure if the seller really inspect for disease before they pack the tubers. And I know that there's a lot of flower farmers that sell dahlia tubers on internet. If you know anybody that is reliable, have good customer service, and have high quality tubers, have good cut flowers variety, and you would like to recommend them, please let everybody here know in the comment. Thank you. It took me 1 year to make this video. It took a lot of my time and effort on planning, filming, and talking. And it would be nice if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, Granary Gardens, and share this video so I can earn more money from YouTube, so I can become famous. And also it would be nice if you are inspired to grow beautiful dahlias. I remember 4 years ago when I started growing dahlias, I didn't know anything about cut flowers, but because of dahlias, I cut them. Then I learned how to make bouquets. I learned how to cut the other flowers in my landscape to add to the bouquets. I learned to grow other cut flowers. I learned to share my bouquets with my neighbors, my friends, my family. I learned that giving a bouquet to somebody else and seeing the smile on their face make me very happy. And now I learn to share information on how to grow dahlias on my YouTube channel. And I also hope that the information and my knowledge in this video help you grow your dahlia successfully. And we together will bring more beauty and more kindness to this world.